are here on day 10. Day 10, we are in double digits of this 50 days of authenticity, this visibility challenge. And day 10 is the first day that we are out and about doing this outside of the confines of a quiet room or quiet space where I've been staying, and now actually out in the world, so that feels like something. And yeah, actually, as I say the word out, it honestly brings up in me what I'm feeling called to share about today, which is being more, quote, out around my gender exploration, which is a nice, juicy topic that, gosh, it's just, I was just reflecting here. It's so unbelievable that this is even a topic, considering the world that I grew up in, which was certainly a relatively sheltered world. That now that I have been out into the world, I mean, it didn't feel completely sheltered and trying to be sheltered, but just, it's not like growing up in New York City or growing up, I don't know, I guess in terms of gender and sexuality is a pretty, just the world that I grew up in was not necessarily, it just wasn't out there. And the world of the 90s, it just so different from today. Isn't it amazing how much things can change? So, what do I feel called to share? What do I feel authentically I want to share now? First, just to say, it's this is not an easy topic. To say the least. The first thing I'll say is that I have this deep sense in me that, in my experience, gender and sexuality are like these boxes, these treasure boxes deep inside me that for 30-ish years, just about 31 years, I would say. 31, I would say, the math doesn't matter. It's about 31 years. I didn't touch them. Just did not even occur to me. Not in my conscious anything that touched them, I get asked, are you a male or female? Male. I get asked, are you straight or anything else? Straight. There's no question about it. And it's fascinating. I'm actually reading a really amazing book now on the shadow, the idea of shadow, which is very big in Jungian psychology. And it talks about how the more that you're etched in a certain identity, the more that you are not seeing the shadow. And I had a little gulp. I'm like, oh my God. And I mean, it's not like I was crazy etched in, as far as I recall, into being straight or being male, being a man, but certainly, I would have been if someone was telling me otherwise, I would have been pretty, I guess, I don't know how defensive. I'm thinking about a story of when I first went to Beijing in 2010. In January, I was with a friend of a friend. It was one of my first days in China. And I had this hat. Like winter hat, cover beanie. And it had these like bianzi, these braids down the sides. And she asked me, like, I just met this person. She asked me, Jamie, are you gay? And I said, no. Why do you ask? She said, well, these like, no straight guy would ever wear these braids. Essentially, she was like, she just couldn't wrap her mind around like a non-straight guy or a straight guy wearing a hat with these braids. And I thought that was quite, at the time, I never really thought about it. I thought that was funny. And yeah, and then later on in college, just about actually a few months after that, it's funny now that I think, put these two stories together. A few months after that, I had a friend breakup, which was one of the most painful moments of my life. and the friend, a male friend, told me that like the energy of the relationship, I don't know if he used these words, but I think this is essentially the essence. The energy of this relationship felt like more than friends. And again, I had no conscious feeling of, oh, I might be interested in this person as more than friends, but it was there, and he felt that, and that was part of what led to the end of our friendship, really. Yeah, it was a tough one. Fucking tough one. So, so why are we talking about this? We're talking about gender. And, I guess fast forward to, so that was in 2011, summer of 2010, that story. So we fast forward about, what do you think? Oh, this is about 10 years. Is that right? Yeah, a little more than 10 years to the fall of 2020. And in working with a spiritual director on my life, I don't really love that term. You know, that opened the box of sexuality when I started to talk about that relationship, and I don't know, just it's like it's pretty mysterious. I don't remember exactly what else brought it up, but it just seemed to come up. And this spiritual director identifies as gay, so he has a lens into the queer world. And I'm gonna set up more. And man, and so slowly started to emerge of like wondering about sexuality and gender. Oh, and like clear that there was, at least first in the sexuality, that there was a lot of pain there. A lot of pain. Like I couldn't even keep my eyes closed. Like we start to talk about it, and I couldn't even keep my eyes open. Like just the fact that I can talk about this now, with my eyes open, talking to you, world, putting it out there in public, it's pretty amazing. So that was the beginning of the sexuality box, and the gender box really started with a conversation with a friend. Not even a friend, like an acquaintance that I met at the temple. I did a 3-week silent meditation retreat in Thailand. It's funny because I've often thought that, not often, but sometimes think that experience is not so meaningful to me. Even though it was a 3-week silent meditation, you would think it would open up everything. But anyway, and this friend lives in Europe actually, and I don't actually know their pronouns at this moment. They told me on the phone that they were transitioning, changing their name, and I believe getting surgery, and the whole 9 yards, as they say. And it was so wild. I mean, funny, is that the first person I had like a long conversation with that transitioned? Maybe, probably. And then it was like, boom, the other box opening up. Open sesame. And yeah, and then like it was like my mind couldn't stop asking questions. I'm like, holy shit, what if I was a woman? It's like, what? It's like, what the fuck is this? And so yeah, so that began that journey. And both of them, the gender and the sexuality, very much feel like journeys I'm still on, and still have way more questions than answers. But the thing that I do know is that there's gold. Like I said, there's treasure, that there's gold. And I don't know if this is true for every human. I mean, I guess maybe nothing is true for every human, but I do have this deep sense that like, I want to say we're all gender fluid, we're all also have fluid sexuality, but it sounds also too trite saying that, and maybe not, like, everything is true for everyone, so put that to the side. But I do have this, I don't know, again, maybe it's something to do with what I was saying before about being etched in an identity, and the more one is etched in a certain identity, the more that it's probably not true. And I'm thinking about a conversation I had last year, earlier this year, with a rabbi actually, who was saying to me, yeah, I tried exploring the sexuality stuff, and yeah, not for me. So like, okay, respect that. You like, you had your exploration, you tried, and not for you. Okay, cool. Kudos, props. So yeah. Let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, yeah, I feel this video is really for anyone out there who is on this journey, and like, if you watch this and you identify, you know who you are. And like, I just want to say to you, not from someone who's close to the top of the mountain, whatever the hell that means, but that I mean, of course, it gets better, and for sure. But more that, just like, be gentle and take your time. Like, this has been something that's taken time, like a lot of time. And in the grand scheme of life, half a year, couple years, it's not a lot of time. But I guess it could feel like a lot of time. So just hang in there. I know that like doesn't sound too appealing, but I guess just the advice I give to myself, to my heart here, is just let things emerge naturally, and the overwhelming thoughts or feelings or sensations, whatever you're going through, just be with it, accept it, embrace it. If it helps, find someone to speak to about it that you feel safe with. It's really helpful. And just, try not to, I know it's easier said than done, try not to put too much pressure and stress on it. But yeah, know that the transformation is happening regardless, and ironically, the more like stress or the more pressure on it, the less quickly it'll happen, just acknowledging that it's going to happen in its own time. So, I think that's it. Yeah, I still think it's really funny how this is the first video that's out of the home, and this is also I wouldn't quite say a coming out video, but it's a, coming out more. I also read this great article about the difference between, coming out and sharing? I wish I remembered, but it was something about, letting in, instead of, being like, oh, I feel like I have to come out. It's more like, no, I'm choosing to let you in. And it has a sense of, more agency, and I like that. I like that distinction. And so this video does feel a little bit more like, yeah, I'm letting you into my process right now. Come on in. Step on in. This is the honest, authentic Jamie right here, sharing about process. And as I say my name, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, there's another thing. This name Jamie, I don't know about it right now. Oh, man. Alright, well, 15 minutes feels about right for this. Thanks for listening. It's definitely, like I said, a juicy topic, and one that just feels so important to the world. I feel there's so much, I have a little more to say, as there's so much misunderstanding around this topic. well, no, what I want to say is, as I've opened up about this topic, I've started to become someone that people talk to about sexuality and gender, which is really gratifying, particularly gender, since that feels like the newer thing in the world. And it's been very humbling to be the person that people not so much open up to yet, but at least like be like, I don't really understand this. Can you answer my questions? And yeah, it's very confusing, and I know people have very strong emotions around. Particularly, what's come up is like allowing children to explore and certainly take hormones or have surgery, and being like, kids don't even know. There's a lot of, I feel a lot of anger around this. A lot of yeah, I don't know. Yes, I don't know what. Is it, oh, this is it here. Yes, go ahead. Sorry. Okay. Apparently I was sitting in front of the fitting room. Yeah, there's a lot of anger around this, and nice. Black, white, black, white. It's not black and white, friends. I love it. Yeah, it's not black and white, and besides it not being black and white, what I want to say is just it's such a personal inner journey, and I just wish there was just more compassion around this, because what I do know is true. Like, regardless of we're talking about everyone being like gender fluid, bisexual, or have sexual fluidity. I mean, what really rings deeply true to me, especially based on my love of Jungian psychology, is just the masculine and feminine energy we have within each of us carrying that energy, regardless of what is presented on the outside in its body. Just the energy we carry, energies that represent what we typically think of as masculine and feminine, and so I recognize now, especially, have a lot of compassion for kids growing up, that as the world has been more open around gender fluidity, that there's a lot of confusion, like so much confusion in the world, so much confusion within kids and teenagers on like their gender identity, if this is something that's in their universe and they feel something is off. So I just I just wish for more compassion, especially for kids growing up with this, and just really for anyone who is on this journey, who is exploring. Yeah, okay, that's an important thing. All right, 18 minutes. Hi, life. Very much a good number to end on here. So, yeah, thank you again for listening. If you've made it this far, it seems like if we go past the 10-minute mark, we go closer to the 20-minute mark. And maybe there will be a 30, 40, 50-minute video in here somewhere, but today is not that day, as Aragorn says. Alright, friends, thank you so much for watching, and be in touch.